The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 15-Point Plan podcast. I am Jacqueline Smith, and I'm here with my co-host, Ryan Greigg. We are so glad you're here. As always, we want this podcast to be something that you can tune into every week to make sure that you are moving forward on the habits that will improve your energy, your focus, your happiness, and of course, reduce stress so that you can focus on reaching your goals and being the best you for the people that you love. Ryan, today we are going to continue the conversation that we started last week on goals. So we talked all about setting goals last week. And today we're going to share 10 things that you will need in order to reach your goals for 2025.
That's right. Last week we talked about goals. We talked about some tips and ways that we can make sure that we have quantifiable goals in all the areas of our life, like health, relationship, personal, financial, and business. And Jacqueline, you shared this with me, and this is just, I thought, a great way to bulletproof these goals, a great way that we can make sure that we're hitting these goals. So let's just start. Let's get through this list of 10 that will help us, give us everything we need to hit these goals we've set. So Jacqueline, what's step number one?
Number one is you will need to maintain a growth mindset. And a growth mindset is so important because it is the foundation of how you're going to be viewing, through what lens you're going to be viewing challenges and obstacles and things that come up throughout the year. Are those obstacles going to cause you to quit, or are those obstacles going to cause you to get better and to learn and to grow?
Absolutely. Look, I don't lose anymore, Jacqueline, right? I either win or I learn. And so when we maintain a growth mindset, we either win or we learn. And if we always do one or the other, then we can keep pushing for those goals because we never lose, right? If I lose, I'm falling off track for my goals. But if I just know I either win or I learn, I'm going to keep that maintained growth mindset and I'm going to keep pushing forward. And a way that will help me do that is step number 2 is visualizing this success. It's like seeing it happen before it happens. I do that in my meditations, in my mindfulness practice, right? I am seeing success happen before it happens. I visualize that daily through that practice, right? How do you work with visualization on success, Jacqueline?
Well, I think what it is, believing. So I shared on the last episode, I write my goals out every morning. And part of the reason I do that is because I'm paying attention to my reaction to those goals on that day. And so for me, it's a reflection exercise. I can tell when I'm writing them out, am I feeling like I believe I can do this? Or am I feeling like, oh, I think these are like, there's no way I'm going to hit these goals. And that is my cue to spend some time on my belief, on my limiting beliefs that are getting in my way. And I know it's super cliche, but the first obstacle you need to solve for when you are working on any goal is ensuring that you really believe that you can make it happen.
I mean, if you don't believe you can, there's no point in even going through these next steps.
Right. So what's number 3?
Yeah, well, so sometimes what helps us believe it is step number 3 is breaking it down.
Yes.
I will, if I look at a task, I'm going, oh my gosh, that is way too big. But if I go, wait, what's the first thing I need to do? What's one thing I can do today that will make the rest of this easier? So breaking it down in digestible or obtainable chunks.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Number 4, be flexible. So, I mean, life happens. Things are going to come up that are unexpected. I mean, we can't control everything. And if you are a fellow control freak, as good as we are at doing that, there are always things that we cannot control. And so we have to be flexible. And again, not allow maybe a missed day or something, that didn't go as planned to just cause us to kind of throw the whole thing out. So if you get a flat tire, you don't just, go out and get a brand new, well, maybe you do, get a new car, but hopefully just change the tire, right? And then keep going. So be flexible.
And we talked about that last week on our goals and the time frame to which we attach those goals, because sometimes we say, I want to do this in 3 years, and we get mad that we didn't do it in 3 years, but we did it in 4 years and we did a bunch of beautiful things in the meantime. So be flexible with the time frame, right? Be flexible and just know that you keep working and you follow these steps. Those goals are going to happen when it's meant to happen. And if you, step number 5, stay calm.
Mm-hmm.
Stay calm throughout the process and know, you know what? It's going to happen when the time is right. This is meant for me to happen. I'm meant to do this. This is my destiny. Stay calm and let these things come to you. Because if we're not calm, what are we? We're stressed. And if we're stressed, what are we? We're in a negative state. And if we're in a negative state, we are rejecting everything coming into our life.
Well, and you're just probably getting caught up in drama.
That too. We are caught up in the drama, and we are the opposite of all these things that are going to allow these goals to come even easier, right? And sometimes, Jacqueline, let's be real, I get stressed, I get overworked, I get burnt out. So I need to go into step number 6.
Yep. Ask for help.
I can't do this alone. And let's be real, none of us can. And we all have networks of people around us that love us and that probably have been through some of these things before, or at least would be willing to sit and listen to us. But they can't listen. Nobody can be there for us if we don't ask for that help.
Absolutely.
We got to ask for it.
I think too, just on that note, I know a lot of, parents listen to this. It could be single dad, single mom, parents of young kids. And I think sometimes too, like we feel like we have to do it all the time. And I think it's okay to get help with some of the things like grocery shopping. Maybe you can use, Instacart or the laundry service that a dear friend of mine, introduced me to. I don't use it all the time, but if I have like a super busy time, week or whatever, I might use it. And I love giving that for gifts too, by the way. But it's Poplin laundry service, or maybe it's, hiring someone that can come in and do a deep clean on the house once a month. So that you're not having to do that. Someone to mow the lawn. Like, what are the things that you need help with that could really help you focus on maybe the date night that we talked about last time, or the date day? Like, who doesn't love a day date? I love a good day date. Right. And so what are the things that you would need to get off your plate, that you would need help with, so that you could have better health, better relationships, actually have time to meditate, read the books, and tackle those goals? So ask for help doesn't always mean like ask a friend and talk it out. It means like, what areas do I actually literally need practical help with?
I'm glad you brought that up, because when I said ask for help, I'm thinking like, who's the friends that I can call? Who's the mentors that I can call? Can I call my mom and ask for help? But you brought up the good point of that might not always mean a person. What are some technologies that we can then use for help? Like you mentioned the laundry and the yard work and I go grocery shopping at Whole Foods, and I've learned, wait a minute, I can just order all this stuff online ahead of time and go pick it up. That saves me so much time. Yes. And that's me asking for help in a way to save me time to not having to go grocery shopping anymore.
Yep.
So maybe it's the technological help that we can work on too. Step number 7, this one I love, and this is a commitment, right? This is a commitment to consistency. I love how Kobe Bryant said, look, I made these goals. It's written. I wrote a contract with myself.
Yeah.
I made a deal with myself. I have made a commitment. So we fall off because we just get out of consistency. Can we commit to consistency? Can we do a little bit every day? Can we do a little bit every day? Because if we stop doing it for a few days, we might stop doing it altogether.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest loss in setting goals is, you know what? This dang Duolingo, I haven't done it for 6 days now. I might as well not even start again.
Yeah. It's so common.
Anything to add on that, Jacqueline, on the commitment of consistency?
Well, just, I think there's a lot of cliches or like quotes about consistency, but it really is not about perfection. It's about like you're going to accomplish more doing less more often than you do with these intense times where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go work out every day so hard. I'm going to eat perfect. And then you're like binging, 6 days in. And so I think it's like, there's a saying, we make up for lack of consistency with intensity. And I think the intensity has its place definitely to like boost us or like get us kind of ahead. But I think if you're constantly finding yourself going from like all or nothing, then it really actually takes us back to the first point, which is maintaining a growth mindset, because a fixed mindset, which is the opposite of a growth mindset, actually has a lot of all or nothing, black or white thinking. And that is where you will, get rid of the car because you got the flat tire. And so do less more often, you will go further.
Such a good point. We talked about in the last episode about we don't set goals sometimes because we don't know how we're going to get there. And we said the quote of when the why is big enough, when your reason is big enough, that how shows up. So step number 8 is to remember that why. Why the heck are we doing this? Right? If I just want to be a little bit more fit because everybody else is a little bit more fit than me, and I just want to be a little bit more fit, but there's not a real attachment to that. If I just want to make 6 figures because everybody else in real estate thinks they make 6 figures because that's a cool number to throw out there. But why do you want to make that money? What are you going to do with that money? How are you going to change your life and other people's lives with that money? If I attach the why to that, the rest comes in. And when I attach that why and I start chipping away, and then I look back a year later, I'm like, whoa, I've actually done a lot of cool stuff, which is step number 9, to acknowledge those small wins.
Yeah. I think that in general, at least the people I know, really struggle with this one because, in real estate, for example, I mean, sure, we all love to celebrate like the home sales. That's an exciting time for our buyers. It's an exciting time, not always for our sellers, but when people are moving, when they're buying real estate, I mean, it's exciting. And those are big wins. They're big wins for your clients. They're big wins for you when you get to help someone with that. But what are the small wins that we can celebrate in our business, in our health, right? Like, big win for you, Ryan, is doing those crazy, Spartan races. But small win would be, I got up and I got my workout in today, even though I didn't feel like it, even though I maybe didn't even work out as hard as I wanted to. I got it done when I really wanted to skip it. Like that's actually, that's not even a small win. That's a huge win, right? Drinking your water, maybe not having like the second donut. I don't know. Like what's all in for you, right? So those I think are so, so important because what you focus on expands. And if you're constantly focused on what you're not winning at, you're probably not going to feel good and that's all you're going to see. So I think a great practice for number 9 is every day at the end of the day, what are 3 small wins that I did today?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Just looking every day. What are some wins that I got from today? And then maybe a couple times out of the year, taking some time off, getting to yourself. Maybe it's outside of nature and reflecting on your life and looking and going, man, I have done some cool things. We added step number 10 though, and you just mentioned it. So what is this step number 10 that will really just allow us to have the foundation for all this?
You have to have daily health habits that support your dreams. So everyone's in a different place health-wise. Everyone has different lives, kids at home, right? Everyone has different goals. So for you, not for anyone else, not for Instagram, not for Ryan, not for, right? What are the health habits that your goals require of you? Get clear on those, make it simple, and make sure that you don't skip that step because I think that should be number 1, but we're adding it as the exclamation point, number 10 on our top 10 things that you need to hit your goals for 2025. And I think that this is a great list, and we hope that this was helpful for you out there. And we want to hear what your goals are. So find us on Instagram. Share this with someone on your team or in your world. And we are thankful for you being here.
Absolutely. Step number 1 on the 15-point plan is to have goals, to write them down and to look at them regularly. And now we've given you a step of 10 items that will help you hit those goals even more. So as always, we thank you for listening. Check our other podcast network at winmakegive.com. Like Jacqueline mentioned, you can find both of us on Instagram, Jacqueline Ray Smith and Ryan Park Greigg. Until next time, don't forget, share this with a friend, like, subscribe, and we thank you all for listening. Bye, everyone.
See you later.